Hello, everyone, you beautiful stars of the morning. Today, I have a lovely guest, Grandpa Brian. You can all call him Grandpa Brian, not just the Soul Tribe that are here watching. Everyone can call him Grandpa Brian, which I love because he is like an elder, ladies and gentlemen. He is like an elder. And today, we're talking about spiritual integrity. Whew, I know, but we got to talk about it, folks. We do.
Yes, we do.
How are you doing, Brian?
I am doing wonderful. I'm down here in this nice, cool basement with it being 95 degrees outside.
Oh, oh,
Yeah.
Lord, may the rain come. Yes. Um, we've known each other for only a few months, really. And one night we were on the phone to give a little backstory here, and we have both experienced different forms of people just kind of dropping the ball and very unexpectedly. And their words and reasoning didn't really line up. And so we were talking at some point about, especially those who work in the spiritual field, or trying to promote spirituality in any way, even if it's your job or not. If you're trying to promote the love and light, we all understand we're human, but we have to have some kind of integrity in place as well. And I did want to point out the definition of integrity is quality of being honest or having strong moral principles. The last interview we did here at Stars of Morning Light was with Lindsay, and she coined the phrase radical honesty. That's kind of going to be our approach, right, Brian? Is that what we're thinking?
Yes, that is exactly what we're thinking.
Yeah, I don't think you can have integrity because it says quality of being honest without honesty. And maybe you don't have to have the radical, but there takes being honest with ourselves and then being honest with other people. And I learned um, probably somewhere in my mid 20s. I never thought it existed, never thought it mattered. It took me into my mid 20s to figure out my actions, my words do affect others. Yeah, that's how long it took me, Brian.
Yeah. One of the key things you said there, you have to be honest with if you can't be honest with yourself, how can you be honest with somebody else?
Yeah. And I think it comes down to also communication. Like if you're honest with yourself and maybe you're scared, maybe you're fearful of whatever the situation may be. Well, I say, don't ghost the other person or don't just drop the ball entirely. Communicate that feeling, communicate your concerns, right? I think
Oh, most definitely.
I think people are used to now. I mean, the fact that we even have a phrase of ghosting or that's a thing. I had I was real late in the game learning what that was. And so I don't even know if that's a term anymore, but the whole, oh, I'm talking to this person and then I'm just disappearing.
Yeah, I had that happen to me last year. I didn't know what ghosting was until a couple months later when I heard back from this person. She's like, I'm sorry I ghosted you, but we were becoming too close and I didn't. I was like, oh, that's fine. You just should have let me know, hey, I need to take a break for a while and everything, instead of just not answering my messages. So I just stopped Messenger. You know,
Yeah.
I just go on about what I was doing. And then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I was ghosting you. I didn't even know that term.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, it's wild. And um people don't know this, but I actually tried to start a podcast with somebody maybe 3, 4 years ago now, and I didn't even know what podcast was at the time. It was her idea. She was real enthusiastic. I'm like, yes, cool, awesome. Well, over a course of a couple months, it was just very clear she and I had vastly two different ideas of what was going on. And at some point, I had to walk away from the podcast aspect but we were just trying to still be friends. And then all of a sudden there was this weird, I don't know, this weird text message and then nothing after that. I had to ask people, because I didn't even know ghosting really. I was asking people, I was like, did she break up with me? When like it wasn't even, but it felt that way. Like, is that did she just break up with me? I don't know what's going on. I literally did not know what was happening. And I think there's a now, because it's so normal in society and people for some reason accept it. I don't know why we accept it. Not saying like we have to backlash or outlash on it, but just accept it as norm. Um, that really kind of messes up a lot of messages that we are trying to let out there for the Great Awakening, in my
Yep.
humble opinion.
One thing I learned: the people that are really fanatical about what you're getting ready to do, you know what I'm saying, enthusiastic, like, oh yeah, let's do it. They haven't took the time to think about it. Then all of a sudden, when they take the time
Yeah,
to think about it, then all of a sudden it's like, well, I don't know, that doesn't sound like a good idea, or
yeah,
no, I don't have the time now. But yet, 2 weeks you were on board, and yeah,
yeah,
let's do this. It's great.
yeah,
Come on, let's do it,
yeah,
do it, do it. And then
yeah,
when it comes time, they're like, well, you know. So I mean, the people I find that the ones that are the least, well, let me think about it. Those are the people that you want, because they want to take the time to think about it. Most likely they'll end up doing it because they took the time to think about it and not just jump in and say, yes, let's do this, let's do this. They processed it.
yeah. They processed it, and it's interesting that you said that. I'm not. So I was a teacher for a little while, and my husband is also severely ADHD, and a lot of people are today. I This popped in my head, so I guess I'm going to talk about it. It's very fascinating because, and this is not anything against them. I mean, I love my husband; he's severely ADHD. Um, they start, Brian, like if they go to tell a story, or when they hear a story, or when you try to give them a task to do, and there's a bunch of sequencing that has to happen, they actually start at the end. They process the end first, and then they kind of get a jumbled sequence thing going on. And it's just how their brain works. It's not anything
Yep.
against that. And I've noticed that then the people that are very enthusiastic, it's because they're seeing the end. They literally are. They're seeing the end game. They're seeing oh man, this is going to be the best event or the best, you know, class, workshop, whatever it's going to be. This is going to be the best barbecue, whatever. Because they're seeing the end first.
Right.
And
And they're not seeing all the work
they're not seeing
and the
all the
step.
work. And then when the work comes into play, it's like, oh,
This ain't what
now
I
we just
signed up
have the
for.
end. Trust me, I live with it. I adore my husband, but I always have to like it's very our communication. I've had to learn how to communicate over the years, but you're not going to know that on general either first kind of communication or this and that. And I do think we were talking a little bit before we started recording. I think there are certain zodiac signs, like if our sun sign or what have you, the one that is represented more so um, by how people view us. I think there's certain signs that are just more of I shouldn't say everybody's kind of a doer. Everybody works. Everybody's soul has tasks, but how they do it are different.
Correct.
Right. So like for me, I'm a Leo sun, backed up with a lot of Scorpio. So Scorpios can be very hard workers and very kind of workaholics. So can Leos. But Leos will always, with their work, they are always trying to organize every little thing to be the best benefit for everyone involved. And it's how they're wired, and or should be wired. It's the lion heart.
Yep.
And so I attract a lot of signs, hence like my double cancered husband. I attract a lot of signs that, oh yeah, the end would be great. The end is this, the end is that. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds wonderful. Let's do it. But then when the work starts, it seems like Courtney's doing all the work. It's like, um, so I think there are, and like you're an earth sign, you're Taurus. So you would probably attract a whole lot of people for more emotional based interaction.
Oh, that I do.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Which also, guys, when if you work in this field, or like we said, if you're trying to spread the message, it does affect other people when you start ghosting, or if you don't show up for an appointment, or, okay, we were going to meet for coffee and now you can't, we don't know where you are because we're putting our energy towards something. We're using our energy. And I don't want to just say Grandpa Brian and I mean, and there's a lot of people out here and we have days too. But those with integrity will call somebody up or at least text and be like, today is not a good day. We got to reschedule,
Hmm.
and I don't know where that went. I don't know. I know with like the millennials, those lovely millennials, they actually have a lot of psychological stuff going on that appears to be very selfish and rude. And, it doesn't matter if I show up to work on the right time, right? It's actually a lot of fear based. They are like the most fear ridden population. But to us or to the outside world, it looks like disrespect, neglect, selfishness, that kind of thing. Um, so even if you are a millennial out there, I love you. It's not anything really against you. It's this mind thing that came over us, that entire group, um, that made it acceptable to just ghost people.
Yeah. Uh, I don't know what they're teaching in school nowadays, but as everybody knows, I go to a place where I do all my classes. It's called All My Relations. Well, they hired this young lady that was just out of high school.
Yeah.
She could not make change.
Oh,
Sh The only thing
yeah.
she's ever used her whole life was her credit card.
Yeah. Oh,
And she literally did not know what a dime was.
yeah.
And I mean, it's sad what they teach our
Yeah.
millennials
Yeah.
nowadays.
Yeah. Well, heck, she would be a Z. There were even past millennials now. We're into Zs. And that's going to be maybe a
Correct.
very interesting bunch. And I will, without going into that, there are reasons why I left the teaching profession. And oh, yeah, there's reasons. I just, yeah.
Well,
Um,
you look at us, Generation X. Our parents beat the shit out of us. You
yeah.
did something wrong, you got beat. The
Well,
millennials,
I know.
all right,
We
you're
got
getting put
trophies.
in timeout. Go stand in the
Yeah.
corner.
Yeah.
I mean, they they
It's just different.
they
It's
babied them.
different.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay. But that baby, once the babying, then had to go out into the world. And now they're dealing with like mass shootings everywhere. They're dealing with the look at me generations, which meant you need to be perfect because, oh, I just took 500 photos of myself and I'm going to present exactly the perfect one. They come from that on top
Hmm.
of, yeah, we're not going to beat the crap out of you, but you get a time out to think about something that we probably didn't even explain to you. And it's all fear. It's all, I'm going to be rejected. I'm not good enough, but I was told I have to pretty much be perfect by the society. It's tons of stuff going on with them, but it doesn't in regardless of that. Okay, we are going back to the beginning. Okay, you got to be honest with yourself. If you are fearful, if you're not sure, if you have questions, they're also, that group was very timid to ask any questions Because why?
Yeah.
It made you look stupid to your peers, and nobody could look. It was all about appearance. So
Right.
they feel like they shouldn't. So it's not just being honest with, hey, you need to cancel an appointment or whatever, or be honest with how you present yourself should be how you are inside your house. It's not just that, it's like it's so many layers that they but I got Brian, it also ripples into the Xers. It ripples all the way through. I
Yep.
know a ton of Xers that on the stage, on the platform, whatever they are all love and light. They are beautiful and wonderful. You get them, at a party or wherever you meet them. That is not who they are. That's not
Right.
who
You
they
see
are
their
at
true
all.
colors.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and I'm not even saying substances, smoke and drink. I'm saying the words coming out of their mouth. It's like, I just heard you say the most precious message. You just gave the greatest quote like 2 days ago. I swear, I think you hate the entire world in this moment. And it's not that we don't have moments. It's that and I'm sure every audience member is intelligent enough to understand who you are out there in the world, who you are on this should line up to who you are in your home for the most part. I mean, we all have our moments, but that's integrity.
But there's also a lot of people out there that can't face the world like what they do at home. So they actually put on a false front when they go out into the world because they mistrust the world.
Oh,
And I think that's a lot to do with, you know, things is they don't trust what's out there. So why should I present myself how I am to out there?
yeah.
So let
Okay.
me put my false self out there so that way they don't know me because everybody else is doing it. So why shouldn't I do it too and not put
Uh,
my real self out there?
that's an interesting thought. That's a very
Hmm.
interesting thought. And I don't mean like all the little details. I mean, if you're into witchy stuff and this and that, but I mean, um, because that most people don't put out there into the world. I get that. Um,
Oh, I have one of my closest
that's
friends.
interesting. It's
She's
trust.
she admits I've been a practicing witch for 25 years.
Yeah. And
She's
you probably
proud
would
of
never know it. Yeah.
yeah, you never know it and she's proud of it. She don't care what anybody thinks. This is who I am. Accept me for who I am.
Yeah. See, I'm not exactly talking about like the practices. I think it's more like the
Right.
attitude, you know.
Right.
Um, but that is interesting because trust is huge in this. Trust is really all of it, because when we say radical honesty or even honest, honest with ourselves and honest with the outside world, honest with someone else, and our actions do affect others, that means we have to maybe trust ourselves a bit. We have to trust the other person a bit. We have to trust outside a bit. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to trust the decisions that you make for even if it's a wrong decision. You still got to trust that you made the decision that you were supposed to make, even if it's the wrong decision, because that might be a learning lesson for you at that point in time. I made the wrong decision, but look what I learned from making that wrong decision. And there's some people out there that probably won't make a decision because they're afraid that
Right.
they'll be wrong or something's
They're
going to
going to,
happen.
right.
You're not going to grow. That's how we grow. You make a decision, it's wrong, it's okay. You make another decision and that's the right decision, that's okay. You learn from both of them.
Right. I honestly,
So,
I can talk about that because I was like that when I was young. And I had a mentor because it just popped in my head. Gosh, I haven't thought about her in a very long time. At some point, she said to me, she said, Courtney, just make a decision. And if down the road you realize it's not the right decision, Well, then you make another decision, and then you make another decision. And when she said that to me, I remember leaving her house and I'm driving home and I'm just like, oh my gosh, the world is not going to end. Right. The world will not end if what's, what's ending, or what it felt like was I referred to it as stagnacious goo. Like I was just stagnating and it felt
Yeah.
horrible. And I kept trying to think of like this huge thing that would pull me out of it. And she just brought it down to just make a decision, just any decision. And then they start building on top of each other. And then if you're wrong at one point, then you just make another decision. And for some reason, I thought that was the most profound thing in my life at that time.
You know, another thing that people really suffer from is self doubt. And when you have self doubt, then that means you're not trusting what is coming to you or this, that, and the other. So that self doubt has a lot to do with spiritual integrity, because if you're always doubting any messages you're getting or your first feelings about something, well, okay, I had a feeling, well, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to feel this way. Most likely that first feeling you had was the correct feeling.
Yeah. Yeah. I
A
agree.
lot, and a lot of people do doubt themselves,
I agree.
and that could go back to self-trust. If you don't
Yeah.
trust yourself, you're going to doubt yourself when making those decisions. See all
Yeah.
three of them tied together?
Yeah. Yeah. I fully agree with that, Brian. I fully do. And the self-doubt, it's a hard one, but it does go back
Yes,
to
it
trust.
is.
It's a hard one because I think we're kind of in a society that induces it kind of, you know?
Oh, most definitely.
Yeah. So I mean, I hate saying it. I don't want to just say everything's on our society, but because at some point we gotta have emotional maturity to be like, okay, my parents were like this, society's like this, but I don't have to be. We gotta kind of pull our bootstraps up at some point and say, okay, I can override this at any time. Kind of like we were talking briefly before this. You and I are somewhat on the same page as to we write our own destiny.
Correct.
How do you feel about that? Because I fully believe we do.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I know there are lessons and all that we have to learn in this lifetime. There's no getting around that. But what you create in your mind is what your destiny is.
Right.
It's not preordained. All right, this is what your life is going to be, boom, boom, all the way through until you die. No, that's not how it is. You have certain things that you need to do, but you pick your own destiny.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to be a baseball player, manifest it.
Right.
Even though, okay, I'm not going to play major league baseball, but yet I can play in one of these baseball leagues because I enjoy baseball. Even
Right.
though you weren't a professional, you still manifested it and enjoyed it. But
Yeah.
that is also like a path of a destiny
Yeah.
that you achieved, and you have many destinies. It's not just, okay, I have one life destiny and that's it. That destiny can change
Well, and
day
that's
by
the
day.
thing. Yeah. I mean, our stories are unfolding all the time. And for me, like the only thing that really is in place, and I refer to that as fate, is like our soul contracts. The people and places that, yeah, you got to be a part of to learn those lessons. That's fate. Destiny, though, I think we are writing our own. And I love how you just said, okay, if you want to be a baseball player, manifest that. But I have to tell you, if you want to be a baseball player, you also got to get out on the field and be a baseball player.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't.
Oh,
So
yes.
that's kind of where I'm looking at it is, if you want, and Robert B, anybody who knows him from Milky Way Soul Tribe, he is very big on this. That manifestation for him is like very little. Putting the work in, having the follow through is what gets the job done, is what really pulls it in. He is very big on that. So shout out to Milky Way Soul Pod or sorry, Milky Way Soul Tribe. It's a channel here on YouTube. It's a great place to be. Um, but so he understands that we're creating our own destiny, and I think it's interesting how I think people they get that, but then that self doubt comes in, that distrust, maybe that not being honest with themselves. Um, Once it's like, oh, I do want to manifest this. This is what I want. Either they pull back because they start saying, oh, is that what I really want? Or once, like we said before, it does take work, follow through, at least follow. I mean, even if you're doing simple manifestations that don't take much work, there's still follow through with that ritual. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I think that's where more of my perceived of writing your destiny, because we don't write anything if we're in what I used to call that stagnacious goop. We're not writing anything. And I also, when I clean people's timelines, I have seen it. I've only seen it a couple times, and it's terrifying. I mean, our timelines are like a spiral, right? They're all kind of connected. But when it's someone who is just spinning in their heels, they're not making any decisions. They're not moving forward. They're not trying to develop and grow. They're just doing this. They're just spinning. That is terrifying to me because that can actually create a void.
Hmm.
And so the moment I see that, I'm like, whoa, okay, all hands on deck. This is not okay. But that's how a lot of people feel, especially the years that we've come through. But without expressing it, without saying it, hey, I'm fearful, I don't know. I'm fearful if I make this decision. I'm fearful if I go here and do this. I'm fearful about joining this new group. I'm fearful about communicating all this and that. Instead of saying that, we just don't know where they went.
Right.
And it's
You
scary.
got to, yeah, you got to think of life as writing a play as it's going on.
Yeah.
You're going to have rewrites. You're going to have miscues along the way. The thing is, if you write it all the way to the end, then you're saying, okay, this is the path that I want to be on. This is the end result. Where it shouldn't be like that because you're continuously writing. It's
Yeah.
almost like an ad lib play, and then you'll have, like I said, you'll have rewrites.
Yeah.
There
Yeah.
all kinds of stuff. You have to look
Yeah.
at it like that, and then when it comes time for you to cross over, that's when the end of the play will happen.
Yeah. And it's perfectly fine to have to cancel, have to fail, have to say goodbye, have to let go. I mean, that is actually some of the greatest gifts. But yet, instead of doing any of that, there's a lot of people that will just hold back. Brian, when you were talking just now, what popped in my head? You have studied some Reiki, right?
Yes.
Have you been taught the Reiki prayer?
No, I have not.
Oh, well, let's talk about that for a moment.
Okay.
Everybody says it differently, and I bet you have been, but it might have just slipped the teacher's mind, or it went by too fast. Um, I say mine a little bit differently because I studied traditional Japanese, not so much westernized. So the language is a little bit different. But let's and I added something too, because that's how I roll. I can do whatever I want.
Yep.
The prayer is, and it says just for today. It says just for today, be not anger. Just for today, be not worry. Just for today, be not fear. Just for today, be humble. Just for today, be honest in your work. Just for today, be compassionate to yourself and others. Now, you don't have to say just for today every time. I just wanted to make sure that we caught that. So it is just for today, be not anger, be not worry, be not fear. be humble, be honest in your work, be compassionate to yourself and others.
That's kind of like I got a little sticky note that I have sitting right between my door frame going out my bedroom and the light switch.
Yeah,
At the very top, it says, "Be kind to everyone you meet today."
yeah,
Underneath that, it says, "Respect everyone you meet today." Underneath that, it says, "Be compassionate to everyone you meet today." And then the very last one, it says, "Just love everyone you meet today."
exactly.
So I look at that every morning before I roll out,
Exactly.
and I try to live my life like that.
Yeah, right. And that's what we're really just trying to say right now. And we do, because we have compassion for ourselves and others, we, I mean, of course, all probably everybody in the chat even understands, everybody listening understands, yeah, there everybody has moments. We're human. I mean, we completely have moments.
Oh
But
yeah,
it's the idea of those that kind of drop the ball every time, or um, I have to say, I've heard this term used so many times when it's to drop the ball. You know, I've heard it said out of people's mouths. Well, I just need to go where the universe is taking me. It's happened a lot, and it's not that I think the universe is not moving things along in ways, but necessarily after three business meetings and the project is started, and then the person drops the ball because the universe is leading them elsewhere. I think a lot of in the new age movement, why I brought that up is because I think a lot of coin phrases are used to pull back from responsibility, to
true.
pull, to pull back from having to be respectful to others. And that to me, I don't really appreciate it because it's like, oh, I find it funny that the universe, just wants to kind of crap all over everything. I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that's how it
Right. And if I thought the universe was trying to pull me in a different direction, say I had a project going on, the universe was saying, well, I would look at it, I say, all right, let me finish this project. Let me see this project through
works.
to the end. And then if that's the direction I need to go at that point in time,
Right,
then that's the direction
right,
I need to go. I need to respect my commitments of what I started from the very beginning and follow through no matter what way you want me to go or not,
right,
universe. Let
right.
me do what I need to do. And then, if you want to take me in a different direction after this is over, we can go that different direction. But for now, I need to stay this course of what I had to do, what
Right.
obviously you directed me to do in the first
At
place, and now
some
you're wanting to
point,
change your, yeah,
exactly.
at
That's
some
what I'm
point,
saying.
and now
Yeah.
you're wanting to change your mind, and
No, no, interesting universe. You change your
yeah,
mind a lot.
exactly. So I'm gonna stay this course because this is what I committed to. And
Right.
then after I'm done with this commitment, if you want me to take another course, another destination, then we'll discuss where that next destination is to go. But for now, I am staying the course on what
And
I was originally planning to do.
that is spiritual integrity because in that, no universe, I hear you. Okay. We're gonna put that on the back
Hmm.
burner because this is what's happening. I've already committed. I'm already there. Um, the thing with that is that it also helps to understand how everyone is connected. All things are connected. So even if the universe is saying, hey, we don't want you really focusing on that, focus on this, you can always turn, like Brian said, and say, no, universe, I'm now connected to all these people. I'm connected to this job. I'm connected to this event. I'm connected to this workshop. I'm connected. I'm connected. And understand that the universe is going to be, if it is the universe saying, okay, you got to move on, they'll actually respect that out of you because they
Yes,
understand more so even than us how connected everything is.
correct.
And what's another, I don't know, a few months, a few whatever it takes to kind of clear out a project, do whatever needs to happen. What is that? That's not skin off our backs. It's actually probably going to be very, valuable. And if it's not so valuable to us,
Correct.
I can guarantee you it's valuable to all the other people, you know?
Right. Uh, like you said, that event that you were gonna have, and that person is kind of like backed out and all that. Did they actually think of all the other people
No, not at
that were
all.
going to be involved with this when they
Not at
made
all.
their decision? Okay, I'm gonna bring up. It was just like our experiment. Okay, just say you guys brought me in after week 3. Just say after week 4, I said, "All right, I'm done. I ain't gonna do no more transmit. Matter of fact, I'm just gonna leave this project totally."
Right.
Uh, that would have been the wrong thing to do because of
It affects.
all the other people that were actually counting on me, and because of my decision to say, "All right, well, I'm done with it,"
Right.
whatever, it affected them
Yeah.
because I made a decision to do something else. That, like we were talking before the show, the cause and effect.
Right.
I caused something that affected so many
No,
people,
exactly.
and I tell you, the universe doesn't want you to do that.
No, that's what
I guarantee you.
I can guarantee you. So even if the universe is putting some thoughts in your head, hey, we really want you to focus on writing this book, or we really want you to do that. That does not mean stop what you're doing if it's a commitment that you've made to other people. That is spiritual integrity,
Yeah.
you know? Or even, I mean, and it could be as small as, you know, like take me for example. I work outside of my home. So if a client is coming to my house, well, now in today's world, this house has to be completely disinfected. That everything's got to, should the dog be locked up? Should he not be locked up? I mean, and then I have to like do my whole thing for at least a half an hour before the client even shows up. It's very
Hmm.
difficult when there's a no call, no show.
Yep.
Because you think I would have spent them 2 hours scrubbing my house down? No, so it's like, it's stuff like that, guys, I don't think people, because in today's world, for some reason, and it's not just the spiritual community. I worked at a chiropractor office, for a while part time. There were a million no calls, no shows, as if it just
Hmm.
doesn't matter. And it's that, and the same for anything that we're doing. And especially if you're trying to be one that is broadcasting love and light, positivity. Because
Yes.
I hate saying it, guys, but if you're trying to broadcast that, and this is a normal pattern of no call, no show, or ghosting, or this and that, no one's going to that. It's kind of like cried wolf. No one's going to be listening to your love and light,
Correct.
unfortunately, because us humans, yeah, we take in the words, but we really look at what you're doing. We really look at your actions. That's how we learn. That's how babies learn. That's how we learn. And so our actions really vastly over in this particular scenario, in this
Yeah.
integrity idea, they override. They will always override.
Yeah. Like you said, love and light. The words that should be tied to that: respect, integrity, honesty, and trust.
Yeah.
If you live in true love and light, then you have integrity, you have respect, you have honesty, and you have trust
Yeah. Agree. With yourself as well. It
with
starts
yourself as
there.
well. Yes, it starts with yourself and then with others.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's unfortunate that we even have to kind of talk about this, but it is a thing. It's very much a thing.
Yes, it
And
is.
yeah. And I think it's even more so in the world of technology in today's world because, well, heck, anybody can say whatever they want, in a chat or in an email or in a this, and we have no idea. We have no idea Now, do I do think, let's say you are complete opposite. For some reason, you're a polarized person. If that is the case and you're one thing way on, one side when you're inside your house and way something else in social media, the only thing I can hope for is that the positive that you're trying to project out there somehow starts to seep in, because
Yep.
there's obviously some kind of desire there. There's some kind of desire to want to be able to talk like this, feel like this, be like this. And hopefully it's not to trick people out of money. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the only thing that I can see as a positive about that duality within a human. Like, and it's scary because we talk about the duality of the world. What about the duality within?
Right.
As above, so below, as within, so without. If there's duality out there, then there's duality or polarity. It's happening within. So we do have to be honest with ourselves, don't we, Brian?
Yeah. What I try to do is, uh, how should I put this? I don't live how I talk. I try to talk how I live. So basically, instead of talking about being in the love and light, I live the love and light first, then I talk about that.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that don't do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know there's quite a few people that they talk a big game, but if you was to meet them face to face, uh, you probably wouldn't like who they truly are.
Sure. Yeah. It's so and I have to say, for people like me, I'm not trying to, drum business with this video. I'm really not. If you want business, I'm here. But I'm
Yeah,
I'm I'm just saying, for people that do this work, that is that is something we have to kind of constantly like work through, because when you see it, and you see it a lot, yes, first you're ashamed, you feel bad, and you're like, oh my goodness, that's shocking. But then there is that thought, this is why people don't want to get healing. This is why people don't want this and that, because of this scam artist over here. And so it's very then hard to try to go, no, 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 I'm not that guy. I'm actually the good guy. Even though I have some of the same titles, I'm a good guy, not that guy. It's that's in there. It's in your mind. And so you're constantly just having to go, no, I know I'm not that guy. I know who I am. I know I'm love and light. I know I do the right thing. But that is so prevalent in this arena
hmm
that that's why, like, the event that I'm putting on in September, I'm actually trying to be very choosy as to who's going to be at that event for people that come. Um, because it is so prevalent. So then how do you pronounce yourself as legit, as real, and have the integrity, have the honesty? I mean, I even turn clients down or send them somewhere else if what I'm if what I give they don't need right now, or if what I do they need something else from somebody else. That's how it should be. It should be a
correct.
community of people sharing, but the competition is insane. And it's just like, whew, okay. I mean, I've seen leaders, guru leaders in conferences. A kid comes up and it's like, I just wrote a book. Will you read it? And the guru's like, why would you write a book? If you're here at this conference, you need me and I don't need your book. Like, oh my God, stuff like that. And that's what people see. And they
hmm
do take it in subconsciously, you know. Anyways, that was a tangent from me because it affects me. It affects my business. It affects what I do. Um, and sorry, Brian, I went off on a
Oh, that's all
tangent
right.
there. um, I have to say also, I had never heard this saying ever until I moved to the South, and I'm probably gonna butcher it. I had never heard this. The saying, something like just do and ask for forgiveness after. I had never heard that. It's a saying that goes like that, like just do what you want to do and ask for forgiveness after you get caught.
Oh, that
I
sounds
had,
like a Catholic.
I don't, yeah, I had never heard it until I came to the South, and it seems like it's a Southern, like, and I'm in the South, guys. So I had never heard it before. And every time a coworker would say it, anytime somebody, especially in a church, would say it, anywhere they would say it, it was like it would hit me in the head and be like, no, that's not the right thing to do. Because it was always, and in the context, there's always, well, just do what you want. You don't have to listen to your boss. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do your job. Ask for forgiveness afterwards. You can, yeah, sure, go home at lunchtime. Just ask for forgiveness afterwards. When you get caught. And I have heard that out of, I think, I don't, it's a regular saying down here. It's regular. I butchered it, but um,
Wow.
yeah, blows my mind. Blows my mind. Ask for forgiveness when you get caught. I, yeah. So I bet I'm hoping somebody in the chat right now is like, this is the saying, and yes, that is what we say. That is a typical
Hmm.
Southern saying. Um, yeah, when I first heard that, I'm thinking that's the worst thing in the world, and they teach their kids that saying. I had kids on the school bus telling me that. What? No, you sit right behind me. Now I got to educate you on how that is wrong. I don't care what your parents say. Um, it's stuff like that though, from ghosting to these sayings to all of it. We're just living in a world that it's hard to have integrity because it's accepted to not. And
Correct.
right. And so you and I are here trying to say life actually works so much better for all involved if you do have it. And you said respect, honesty, integrity, and trust. Those were your four.
Yep.
Guys, I think if we stick in that parameter, okay, let's start with integrity because that's going to be the title of this. Integrity, respect, honesty, and trust. And I say I want to attach to that honesty and trust. Please know, if you are honest, you're sick that day, you're just not feeling it, whatever. You do have to pull out of a project, or you do have to do this, or you do have to. That's okay as long as there's honesty, communication. So then trust can still be in place. You see what I'm saying? That's
Hmm.
it really boils down to me for as communication. I mean, trust is leaves when there's a no call no show, or when there's ghosting, or when there, how can trust still be intact and possibly grow and build more when there is, I don't know where you went, I don't know what happened, I thought you did she just break up with me, what's happening here, that you can't trust anything that way. So integrity, respect, honest, and trust. I mean, guys, for yourself and others, because what we do does affect other people.
Right. And integrity and trust go hand in hand
Mm.
because if you do everything with integrity, you're always going to be trusted by the person.
Oh, it comes full circle.
Yep.
Comes full circle.
Hmm.
Yep.
So
Yes,
if you
sir.
act with integrity, do everything with integrity, guess what? People are going to trust you because they know that you're doing it with integrity.
Yeah,
Just like
exactly.
I do so much, I do a lot of remote healing.
Yeah.
And I mean, just about every night for the past year and a half, I've done remote healing. Why? Because I do with integrity, and the people that I'm doing this for trust me.
Yeah. Brian, that was one of the first things I said when we actually spoke on the phone for one of the first times. I know I said that to you. I said, Brian, it's because, we trust you.
Yep.
I knew to trust you. And it's because you are what you say you are.
Hmm.
And that's really what everybody's asking. And you can say, I'm having a crappy day. Okay, cool. Get it. We understand. That's acceptable. It's all this other stuff that it's like, whoa. But it is that. You're walking the walk, you're walking the talk. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Exactly. Uh, our saying, I have a group of enlightened minds that I meet with every Wednesday, and our motto is, I am light, I am love, I am truth, I am peace. And I try to live by that motto.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a good motto to live by.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, Brian, why don't you repeat that one more time for everyone before we say goodbye?
All right. I am light, I am love, I am truth, I am peace. But not only say it, live it.
Live it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And if it doesn't come, Brian, does peace come all at once?
No.
Maybe not. Yeah. I mean, everybody does things differently, but give yourself the permission to start trusting yourself, trusting others, being honest, being respectful, having integrity. If you give yourself that permission to open up and be that slowly by slowly, you can be that love, that light, that peace, that harmony. You can
Yeah.
be all those things.
Yeah.
And
So everybody just love yourself, trust yourself, respect yourself, don't doubt yourself,
mm, that's
and
my
you will
favorite.
get along great.
That's my favorite. Well, Soul Tribe and all of my subscribers, thank you for all the new subscribers. And thank you all for listening. Hit that like button, share. And if you enjoyed this, consider donating or checking out Stars of the Morning Light for all of your resources. Namaste, guys. Thank you, Brian.
Bye, everyone.